Hi BookTube, it's me again, Brianna, slow reader. We're gonna figure out an intro if I even get together enough for an intro, but I'm back. So just to kind of give you a little bit of insight of what happened, I wanted to post a video a lot sooner, but as per usual, I procrastinated reading for like a good week or so, and then I read a book, then I read my other book, then of course the day I was going to record the reviews for the books, I got sick. Hence why my voice sounds pretty hoarse right now. So yeah, that's why I haven't posted a lot sooner than I wanted to. I kind of wanted to do this thing where I like post a video once a week or something. But of course that just completely was torn to shreds. One of the reviews. Oh wait, by the way, I wanted to thank everyone for being so welcoming. I didn't expect this from this community. This community is pretty cool. On both of the tag videos I posted, I got a lot of comments and a couple subscribers. So thank you so much for that. Even my friend who was off to the side in the video was like, wow, this community is like really nice. They're so welcoming, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so sweet. So thank you to everyone that commented and subscribed and saw my video. Thank you so much. The book that I read is called Memoirs of a Geisha. This book is a pretty old book. It's pretty much the same age as me. I'm pretty sure it was published in like 1997, and that was the year I was born. But just kind of give you some insight. I looked at this book and I originally thought it was nonfiction. So I was in the complete wrong mindset at first. I thought all of this was about real people and real places and real events that happened. I was under the impression that a geisha had basically recalled her memories and somebody else helped her publish it. But then I realized no, it's a historical fiction. It goes to show how smart I am. Just to give a brief overview, I really did. Oh my god, I love the book. Actually, I ended up falling in love with the book. That is to say, there were a couple things that like I wasn't a big fan of, but like it honestly wasn't even that big of a deal. But it didn't ruin the integrity of the book or anything like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and give a quick summary. So basically, long story short, you have this girl named Chio Sakamoto, and she lives in Japan in this town called Yoroido. And in Yoroido, it's kind of like this, I guess it's considered the slums. They're very poor. It's a very poor town. Basically everyone is like a fisherman, and her mother is dying. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a pretty strong way to start off the book, but her mother is dying from some illness. I forgot what the illness was, but their father is already really old, and he already knows he's at like approaching the end of his life, and he knows that his girls are basically pretty much going to have to like end up being orphans, because both the mom and the dad are gonna die. So what he ends up doing is, long story short, he sells his girls into slavery pretty much. They're bought by a geisha house, sort of, except, well, her sister went to like this prostitution house, but they're bought by a geisha house, and the amount that they spend to buy them, they have to work and like earn it back for them pretty much. So it's kind of like they're in this huge debt. Chio is in this geisha house, and she's training to become a geisha, but she obviously wants to leave and go back home. And she finds her sister, and her sister are planning to escape. However, her sister escapes and she stays behind. And obviously she's miserable about it because she wants to go back home. And one day while I think she was crying, I don't know if that was what she was crying about, but she was crying. And this old guy kind of gives her a like handkerchief. This old guy gives her a handkerchief and kind of like a coin, and he says he's like really nice and kind to her. And because of this, she kind of gains affections for him, and she makes it up in her mind that she's going to become a geisha so she can get close to this like random stranger guy who, okay. But she wants to get closer to this guy, and it's basically from there she decides that she is going to become a geisha, and the whole story is about her becoming a geisha and trying to get close to this older man, and Hatsumomo, who's basically her like rival in doing this, right? Basically, this girl wants to bone an old man, and it creeps me out, honestly. It's I'm not here for it, but that's the summary. I'm gonna just let you know already, if you haven't read the book and you want to, this is probably where you should like click off of the video, because I'm just gonna spoil stuff. I'm gonna spoil stuff. I don't think I'm gonna spoil everything per se, but like the things I talk about in this review are gonna be very, very spoily. So first, before I talk about plot, I really want to talk about relationship dynamics, which is something that I typically don't do. I hadn't planned to do in my reviews, but I feel like I really want to. Like, I need to get this off my chest. So let's talk about some of the relationships, because I had a lot of mixed feelings about it. First of all, let's talk about Sayuri herself. Chiyo later changes her name to Sayuri. Sayuri. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Chiyo changes her name to Sayuri, and that's like her geisha name. So like once you become a geisha, you like change your name to something else. And they talk about it in the book, but just know that when I say these two different names, it's the same person. Chiyo, I had mixed feelings about her. Like, I kind of liked her, but like she did things that I just completely thought were like stupid, honestly. And like she was doing things to certain characters, because like the only character she really cared about was like obviously the old guy who he's called, like, I forgot his real name, but throughout the book he's called the chairman. And like she only really cares about the chairman. Everybody else she kind of treated like whatever, and it really annoyed me. Like it really annoyed me. So you have Pumpkin. My first relationship was Pumpkin and Sayuri. So Sayuri, Pumpkin was like Sayuri's childhood friend. When she first gets to the Okiya, which is the geisha house, she realizes Pumpkin is like around her age, and they're basically kind of like in the same boat, where they both start off as maids, they both start going to school around the same time, they're both like in training, so they're kind of like going through life together. And at first I thought they were going to be rivals, but they actually were friends for a majority of the book, except things kind of go to shit where the mother of the house, the mother is basically like the pimp. I don't want to say that, but she's like the head of everything. So the mother decides to adopt. When the mother decided to adopt Sayuri instead of Pumpkin, Pumpkin runs out crying, and then Pumpkin kind of like they end up getting separated after all these years, and Pumpkin goes through things, and she, like, Sayuri goes through things, and things happen, but at the end, it's kind of revealed that when it's revealed that Pumpkin actually hates Sayuri for being adopted, which I'm like, girl, that's not even her fault technically. Like, she can't control being adopted by someone else. She can convince someone to adopt her, but really that was her goal. She was trying not to get adopted technically, I think. But Pumpkin basically tricks her in the end and betrays her, because she's mad at her for being adopted. And I get where she was coming from, because it's like, because she was adopted, she had to go through certain things that she wouldn't have gone through if she was adopted instead. But like, it just seemed really out of character, because Pumpkin just didn't seem like that cruel of a person. That seemed like something like Hatsumomo. And Pumpkin, while Pumpkin was training under Hatsumomo, she didn't seem to really like Hatsumomo that much. So it was just really weird that she gained this like cruel side of her. But maybe I guess that's what the 2 years did to her. But I didn't really like it. I hated what happened to, like, how Pumpkin turned out, because I expected her to be kind of like this really cute and kind-hearted and almost naive character, but the fact that she just turned around and started hating Sayuri just seemed like out of the woodwork. There's Mameha and Sayuri. Mameha is basically like Sayuri's older sister, so she learns how to be a geisha through her, which is no problem. However, it was kind of the twist at the end. It was revealed that Mameha really only helped Sayuri because the chairman paid her to do so. And when I found that out, it actually made me question, like, are they really friends? Like, how much of their friendship was genuine, and how much was it a lie over the years? And like, she doesn't find this out until she's like way older, like somewhere in her mid-20s she finds this out. And like throughout the rest of the book, they still carry out their friendship normally, and they even like still visit each other from time to time. But it just made me question, like, Mameha became real shady of a character after that, because like, okay, she was motivated by money to help this girl, instead of like it being out of the kindness of her heart, like we thought it was. So I don't know, it made me think, like, is Mameha like the mother, where like she's like motivated by money but she's not as greedy? I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. So let's talk about the chairman and Sayuri, which honestly is my least favorite relationship out of the whole book, but like, it's like the main plot and everything is centered around them in the end. But this is kind of like where the romance comes in, and oh my gosh, okay. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make the book bad. It doesn't give the book any less like integrity. It's just my own annoyances, because I like romance, and when romance is, and I'm very picky about my romance, so that's just me, honestly, it's just me. But basically how this works is that Sayuri is in love with the chairman, and the chairman is an old guy. Like, he's an older guy. So the whole fact that she was in love with this like old man I really wasn't feeling it. Like, I was like, he's old enough to be your grandpa. Like, that's real weird. That's real weird. But like, at the same time, nobody really told her any better. So I guess, I think there was also, I'm not a history buff, but I think there was a period of time where like women just dated old guys, and that was like the trendy thing, where it was like women were married to these like rich old men. You could take that however you want, but I remember that was, at least I thought there was a time period where that was really popular, but I don't know what time period it is. So I was like, I'm not really feeling this relationship. This relationship is already a big turn off for me, but I had to deal with it, honestly. Sayuri meets the chairman when she's like, I don't remember, like 14. Almost like for a decade of her life, she's chasing this man. And like, she does it, first of all, she doesn't start becoming a geisha until she's like 15, 16. So there's a good 2 or 3 years where she doesn't interact with this man at all. She's just focusing on becoming a geisha so she can interact with him. Then when she does start when she is a geisha and starts interacting with him, he like shows no interest in her whatsoever. Like, none. Like, he damn near doesn't even know she exists. So that charade keeps up for like another good decade, like for the rest of the decade, where she's into him, but she's like, she can't say it, and he's like, it seems like he doesn't give a fuck about her, honestly. And like, I was like, okay. And then towards the end, you find out, oh, the chairman actually did like Sayuri after all of these years. Like, he was trying to give her to Nobu, and it's like revealed at the end, and I was like, oh god. So like, they get into this relationship, and she runs away to New York and hides there, and like, they're together. I really didn't like anything. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like anything about that. anything because I just didn't care about the chairman. And like the fact that they didn't interact for like almost a decade, but now they're like, now she's like, they're like together. And I wouldn't even say in love. Like she just wanted to be with him, which I thought was cute at first. But then they started talking about an illegitimate child, and I hated their relationship, honestly. And I hated the romance because most of it was just like this long drawn out longing for each other, but they were avoiding each other, and there was such little, what irritated me the most was that there's romance between these two, supposed romance, but they never talk, they never interact, they never like, and then like comes the time where they're just in love. And no, I need some interaction, I need some talking. Like they have to have an established relationship. They didn't have that. It was just kind of like he was around and she really liked him, and then she finds out after all these years he liked her. Nobu and Sayuri, really, Nobu was like my favorite character throughout in this entire book. Nobu was my favorite character, and like I think I liked him because he had flaws. Like yeah, his body is disfigured to some extent, and like people don't find it attractive, and I can see why. He had like a temper, and like he's obviously is interested in Sayuri, and he's not. He's like the way I best describe him is like he's like a workaholic. He's the type of person that honestly has no time for women, but it's obviously shown that despite his personality, he's going to see geishas a lot, and it's mostly at parties where Sayuri is present, and he's bidding for it, which is problematic in and of itself. But that's our history. I can't do anything about that. That's their history, so that can't change. But they bid for like their, I forgot the word, but basically for their virginity, and he's bidding for it. He doesn't win it, but he bids for it. Then he bids to become his her Dana, and that doesn't work out either. But he's like pursuing her, and she's just doing everything in her power to like not be with him. There's times where she ignores him and he obviously gets upset, and like there are times where she treats him, basically Sayuri treats him like shit, and it really made me upset. Where like I kind of accepted somewhere in the book that okay, I know they're not going to be together. Like I figured this out. It's like the Twilight situation. Like you read enough to know that like they're not. It's just not going to happen. But I was hoping they would at least be friends. But goddamn, she completely shat on their relationship. Like she hit a point where he was going to be her Dana, and the only way he would like not do it. There's something in my eye. The only way he would not do it is if she basically slept with someone else, which was like this guy he hated, and she plotted to do it pretty much, and it was just like okay. But like if she did it, not only would it would completely ruin their relationship. Like he would never talk to her again, and it happened, and he never talked to her again. And like they tried to paint it as the chairman tried to say like this, like, well, if that was enough to ruin their relationship, then they were never really meant to be in the first place. Which like I guess I get, but like you don't care about him. Like you disrespected like y'all the relationship. Like why did you have to do that? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm in my feelings that like things didn't work out with my favorite character, basically. But like that's just how I felt. There were a couple of things that rubbed me the wrong way. First of all, I found like a couple typos in this book, which I was really surprised because I'm like, this is an older book. Typically older books don't have typos, but I've been finding typos. I found a couple typos throughout this book, and I was like, ooh. So there's that. There was I don't know where the typos are, honestly, but there were some typos I found, and I was like, oh gosh. But there were two other concepts I want to talk about that really rubbed me the wrong way. The first is all the way at the end, where Sadie finally moves to New York, and her reaction to New York is that, wow, everything's so nice and so clean and so much better, and like they have marble floors instead of this type of floors and blah blah blah. Like, she is so impressed with New York, which, I mean, I guess I could see. The places where she lived are technically, well, Yoroido was a small town, but then she's taken to, where was it? Osaka, I think. She's taken to Osaka or some other town. The town that she's in, I didn't suspect to be poor. But I guess the concept is that it's not as rich as New York. It's not as glamorous as New York. And I was like, the way I feel like New York is pretty glamorous. Like it's this, like, you know, shiny, fashionable place. But at the same time, New York is dirty. Like, New York is not. It's not that, the city outside when you're like traveling around is not that glamorous. Like, it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like I didn't feel it because I was like, New York is like this dirty city. Maybe it was different back then, but like it's not. It's not that. But I don't know. Maybe I've been to the wrong parts of New York. Maybe I need to travel. Maybe I need to try to go back and travel and see again. But like, this is not my idea of New York. So the reason this concept kind of annoyed me is the fact of like, you're putting US on this pedestal, and it was really strange. We're like, New York is better than Japan. Like, this place is better than this place. And like, it annoyed me because like, I don't like that concept. I don't know. I just don't like comparing places and being like, this place is better than this other place. Okay, that's a whole different. Just know that rubbed me the wrong way. All right. The other thing was the idea of beauty. I don't think it was like. It was very subtle. I'll put it that way. It was very subtle, but to me, it was this idea of sometimes characters said things or thought things or did things where it kind of reinforces this idea of like, if you're not beautiful, then you have no place in this world. Like, if you're not beautiful, you might as well just be a prostitute. And I was like, that's kind of problematic. Maybe it wasn't problematic in the 90s, but like now it's pretty problematic, so I don't know. I guess I'm just reading this at the wrong time period, but like, it rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I was like, yeah, that's problematic. That's really problematic. So like, I don't know. The idea, like, Nobu, I think the biggest character that enforces this is Nobu, because Nobu, there's a time where Sayuri goes away for the war, and obviously a war is happening, so she's not being a geisha anymore. So she's not dressed like a geisha. She doesn't have her makeup on. She's not geisha standards of beautiful. So when Nobu goes to visit her, he stares at her for a long time, and he's like, "You look like a peasant." And I'm like, Nobu. Which I suspect that maybe the author did this just so Nobu was like less likable in the end when like things were broken off with their relationship. But like, at the same time, it kind of reinforced this idea of like, if you're not beautiful, then fuck it, nobody cares about you, you know? And that was a problem. It's also this idea of Sayuri's sister and Pumpkin both end up in whorehouses, where like, they're not as beautiful as Sayuri, so fuck it, they to the pig pen with them. Like, it completely rubbed me the wrong way. Like, after I stopped reading, I had to think about it, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not good. There were no cringy quotes. And I've been trying, you guys. I've been trying to find cringy quotes in these books. There was none. There wasn't any in the other book I'm gonna talk about either. But there was a book that I really liked. So it's kind of like the same thing I did with Maud Martha. I'm kind of gonna find it and I'm gonna read it. Anyway, Sayuri is a very pretty name. Though pretty names and pretty girls don't always go together. I was beginning to wonder if his next comment would be something like, "What an ugly younger sister you've taken on, Mameha," or some such thing. But to my relief, he said, "Here's a case where the name and the girl go together. I believe she may be even prettier than you, Mameha. Nobu-san, No woman likes to hear that she isn't the prettiest creature around. Especially you, eh? Well, you better get used to it. She has especially beautiful eyes. Turn toward me, Sayuri, so I can have another look at them. Girl, like, I read that and I was like, oh my goodness, like, no boo, no boo, no boo. What he said was like real smooth for a second. Like, that was kind of smooth, I'm not gonna lie. So that's it. That's all I have for Memoirs of a Geisha. It was really wonderful. It was great, honestly. It was lovely. So thank you for watching this video. I don't want to say like and subscribe, honestly, so I'm just gonna say thank you for watching this video. Subscribe. I'm terrible at this YouTube thing.